rolling because we don't have
Mr. Shilly-Boy Motiba.
Yes, sir. I'm good, man. Can't complain. And yeah, and you?
No, healthy and well. Happy New Year, by the way.
Yes. I haven't, did I see you this year?
You never see me. We only see each other online, eh?
Jeez, man.
This is our relationship right here. This is us.
It must come to an end.
Eh?
This online thing must come to an end.
Hey, it must, but it's so convenient sometimes, eh?
It is, eh? It saves a lot of time. Saves a lot of time.
So welcome. So thank you for joining us. We're on episode 30. Shilly-Boy. And this is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. So we've got Shilly-Boy Motiba, chartered accountant, tax expert. What else? What else am I missing out there? He's the co-founder of Intergen. Yeah, so,
wow.
Shilly-Boy is gonna come and tell us about, you know what I want to talk about today, Shilly-Boy? About 2022. How can we structure our affairs better, and how can we be more tax efficient as business owners and as property investors?
So look, thank you so much, man. I always say, I think the best way to actually be efficient is actually to comply, as simple as that, and make sure that you are very sound when it comes to admin. There's nothing as dangerous as not being efficient when it comes to admin. Your record keeping, because lack of records, lack of supporting documents pretty much means that the transaction don't exist, and you might find yourself overpaying unnecessarily tax, and due to the fact that you are actually not efficient when it comes to your record keeping and administration. So trust me, a lot of people, I mean, for instance, I'll give an example. If you don't have an invoice of an expense, how are you going to claim that an expense? If you don't have, I mean, especially if, let's say, I speak to property investors who do a lot of improvements on their structures, you find that you have done your improvement like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. You don't even have that supporting documents of that improvement. How are you going to capitalize that improvement to your base cost so that you reduce the capital gain, potential capital gains tax when you dispose that particular immovable property? So, you know, things like that are very crucial. If before you even start talking about tax planning and all these necessary concepts that you might have to pay people like Shilly-Boy for, but just the mere basics of knowing where are my records, where are my files, you know what I mean?
And Shilly-Boy, you're talking difficult things now to investors and stuff, keeping records and invoices and files. Eh? How's your experience?
No, I mean,
I know maybe some people are good, but most people are not good at this. Where are you gonna? I don't have invoices from 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay, you see, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. And as an entrepreneur, and it's quite actually interesting what you just mentioned, because I actually learned something last year that, look, that's a weakness, and that's good that you are self-aware that you are not good with certain type of certain things are not yours. Admin is not your strength. However, one can also argue and say, I don't have resources to hire someone full-time, you know, to actually help me with it. You know, there are virtual assistants. You can hire someone on an hourly basis where you find that they work 1 hour for you every week, and they just clear you out.
Where do you find these virtual assistants?
There's a lot of agencies. There's a lot of agencies actually that provide such kind of individuals. I know one called Recruit My Mom. They actually do that.
Recruit My Mom.
And there's Recruit My Mom. You know where the concept? I think the concept comes from the fact that there's a lot of stay-at-home moms who actually wants to work half a day. So what they then do, they say, I can only allocate 4 hours per day of working. So such kind of people, they allocate hours. You know that I work for Intergen for 1 hour. I work for Teba Capital for 1 hour. You know, I work for Leroy for 1 hour. Then I've got 3 hours per day. You understand? So you can actually get some people like that, and they can assist you virtually, or they can even come to your office, depending on the nature of work that you want assistance on. The second company that I know, they must pay me royalties for advertising.
They must.
The second company that I am aware of, it's called Get Stuff Done. So they basically specialize in admin, like they come to your office and solve everything that you don't want to do. So if you're like you and I, who doesn't like admin, then they just come and look at your office and say, Shilly-Boy, your office is a mess like it is now. Okay, let's clear you out as long as you're willing to pay. So, you know, can you see that you don't necessarily need to be having someone full time, because there are those people also who don't want to work for Shilly-Boy for full time. They just want to work for Shilly-Boy for 1 hour. You can actually get those people.
No, that's good. But Shilly-Boy, you didn't tell us what Intergen does. I think before we move further, what does Intergen do?
Yeah, thanks, man. Look, Intergen is a private wealth management company with a niche focus in a property sector. Of course, we also service and would love to service other sectors, but we predominantly specialize in property sector and also medical doctors. So what we then look at, the component that we do, we look into things like fiduciary services. One can ask, what are those things? We act as independent trustee for people trust. We draft a trust. And I mean, you might ask yourself, why do you need a trust? You need a trust to preserve wealth. You need a trust for succession planning. You need a trust for asset protections and all those type of things that you might necessarily consider them useful for you. We do things like wills drafting, and we do legal planning and tax planning within the company. We also do deceased estate administration. When you pass on your estates, if you've got things in your personal name, you need to unwind that. According to the law, you need to unwind that particular estate so that the beneficiaries, the heirs, and the legatee of your estate must get something out of that. So it's a law. It's done within Estate Administration Act. So that's what basically Intergen does in a nutshell currently. Well, we're hoping that one day we'll have our own smaller bank somewhere sitting in Sandton. Who knows?
Is that the goal? Is that the goal, to get your own?
Yes, bank? we have to have a bank at some point.
No, that's good. We need a bank, eh?
Yeah, we need a bank. But I mean, we
guys like us who constantly need money. You say guys like us who constantly need money, we need to have friends with a bank.
So I think for us, you know, we're trying, and I think it's just not a matter of us having a bank or private wealth management company. We are a new generation. We're millennials, and we're obviously not going to enter the space traditionally. We embrace a lot of technology, and that's one of the reasons why last year we made a call to suspend our wills department, mainly because we felt that we needed to go out there, look for some sort of an IT and system and softwares that can actually create efficiency and brings convenience to our clients. So we're embracing a lot of IT, and we're embracing a lot of digital platforms. Mainly because our clients are millennials. They are digitally orientated. I mean, the wealth these days, I was actually speaking to one of the guys to say, you know, when you do deceased estate administration and you look at the deceased estate or liquidation and distribution account of baby boomers, our parents,
yeah,
you'll probably find traditional assets within that, meaning that you'll find things like crooked rents, you'll find things like properties, and you know the usual suspects. But when you look at the liquidation and distribution account of the millennials of this world, they're talking about digital assets world. And what is these digital assets? These guys are talking about the NFTs. They're talking about crypto assets. You know, they're talking about kitties, mining kitties, and breeding kitties. And these are things, and the digital, and they're talking about PayPal and Stripes and all these things. These are things that you start to see in these liquidation and distribution accounts of the millennials. So intergen cannot be seen or cannot be associated with traditional way of doing things. We need to find ourselves in a situation where we embracing this technology and we administrating this millennial liquidation and distribution account in a more informed and advanced way. So yeah, we'll see. That's our journey.
No, that's interesting. Eh? That's interesting. Now tell me, is it easier dealing with these new assets, or is it easier dealing with your traditional assets?
It depends.
Your businesses, your properties, your gold, silver, what else is there? Stock shares.
Look, they come with their own challenges, and they come with their own advantages. And I mean, I'll give you an example. One of the disadvantages, and I was actually thinking about it, is think of crypto, or think of Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin and the wallets. Someone will have that, right? You will probably experience difficulties if that person passed on, in a sense that where will you get the password of things like that? You know, the issues of security, the issue of how do you even document things like that in such a way that how do you even draft them in a will and make them accessible? Because there's also, especially where people feel that they don't want to disclose information like that to SARS, which is very interesting now that under the exchange control regulations, the service providers like Lunos and the rest are actually obligated that in and out of transactions from their platforms needs to communicate it to the Reserve Bank, and then indirectly SARS have access to either way. So, but what I'm trying to say is that these digital platforms also create, there's a lot of information that can easily not being accessed, in a sense that how many, like I'll give you an example with you. Digital assets might include your Facebook page as an example. How many people actually knows your password of your Facebook page if you don't have a team around you?
No one.
You know, exactly. So things like that, those are digital assets, by the way.
Yes,
so
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, digital assets.
That's digital assets. Remember, what is anything that is digital can be and then can meet the criteria and the definition of an asset. It's an asset. Think about it. Your domain, you can have a LEROY SLAVA as a domain and can become this very expensive assets because you are a brand. You become a brand, and that can actually be commodified in such a way that it has value. Or your company, for that matter, can be branded in such a way that its domain can be tradable. You know, there are people who sell domains. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So
quite a few dollars, eh? Quite a few $1,000s.
Exactly. That's a digital assets. How many? Then imagine if we've got you owning domains and your family are not even aware how many domains you actually owns and what is the value. And one of the challenges that comes with digital assets is the issue around how do we value digital assets? How do we value them?
Yeah,
you know,
what are they worth? It's interesting, eh?
Yeah. So you know what I mean. So there's that, and then there's also a issue of tax around the whole digital world. When do you actually, because there are platforms now where we're going back to the Asian years where now a barter trade is actually being considered, especially on digital, where I might actually sell
in the metaverse.
Not even in a metaverse, before you even go to metaverse, but the reality is that I can give a cryptocurrency in exchange of a car. So that's barter trade, because crypto, not even cryptocurrency, because it's no longer even defined as a cryptocurrency, it's crypto assets. So I can give a cryptocurrency assets in exchange of a car. That is not a monetary system, but that's more of a barter trade system. You get my point? So there's that element of Asian. If you think about it, that's an olden ways of how people used to live.
And SARS is not happy. SARS is not happy about that, eh?
No, not necessarily that they're not happy. They know they'll have access to information. Like I said, the service providers now, they are required by exchange control regulations to actually report to the Financial Service Department of Reserve Bank. So you can't get away with that. So they'll know. The only thing that currently that they are not aware of, it's your many transactions that are happening within that. But the reality is that if they know that you've got an account, they can easily, through access of information acts, they can easily get into your account and know how many trade movements you have done. And you might find yourself actually in a huge tax obligations because you have not been disclosing as and when you are selling and buying all those type of crypto assets. So those are some of the things that, yeah, if you are a millennial, you're into this world of digital world, just be careful.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Eh? It's a tricky one. But SARS is naughty. SARS is very naughty. I saw the high about 200, 300. You must see, I got a WhatsApp. It says young, vibrant. I thought this young, vibrant, these people just want more money. Now they you know, what they want energetic people to chase more money.
You know, what you are raising is actually very, the sentiment that you just said that SARS is naughty. It reminds me of an article that I was reading from OECD and around the issue of tax morale, to say, how do we actually, how does the jurisdictions or countries actually improve the tax morale? You know, your morale right now is low. What will make you to see paying of tax beyond obligation? Because right now it's an obligation according to the Tax Act, right? Now, what will make you, I'm sorry to occupy now, changing the conversation and make you now to answer the question, but it's a tax morale in a sense that what will make you to feel like you need to pay tax irrespective of being your obligation? You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because
what will make me to feel tax? You know what? So I don't like paying tax. My goal is to pay no tax at all, because obviously corruption, you see where the money is going. Nothing is being used for what they say it's being used for. Then you have grants, which means what they are doing is they punishing productive people to incentivize unproductive people, right? So now I must be productive. The harder you work, the more they punish you, right? So you work, firstly you pay VAT, then you pay income tax, then you pay, my wife sent me a WhatsApp now. She got my saying, then you pay, what do you pay? Fuel tax. Then when you die, you pay tax. So every time you just look around, they're trying to tax you for everything. So, so for me, I pay all those taxes. Why must I still pay tax? Do you understand my point?
Look, I hear your sentiment, and it's exactly what I'm saying to you, that it affected your tax morale level. So then there's sort of a push or a sort of a designed and a program to ensure that countries actually go on a taxation education, in a sense that how do you actually educate people like Leroy? How do you go out there and ensure that you boost the morale? What needs to be done per country? Because I truly believe that those taxation education programs or campaigns or whatever that needs to be done is going to differ from one country to the next. You can imagine someone like you are worried about corruption, you are worried about not happy about service deliveries, you know what I mean? So it means for someone like you, you want to see change first before you feel that, yes, before your mindset changes from seeing tax as an obligation but seeing beyond being an obligation, but seeing it as something that it's a good thing to do. You get where I'm coming from. So there's a work that is being done. Actually, I'll share with you the article. There's a lot of work that OECD is trying to do across all the member states, and to ensure that you and I can see tax as a right thing to do rather than an obligation.
But do you believe it's the right thing to do?
Do I believe? I certainly do, because I think and you might think because I'm biased being a tax professionals, but I think for me, it's actually try to analyze things beyond the noise. You understand? I mean, the fact that yes, we might not get the lights as we actually wish, but we've got lights, we've got roads, we've got, you know what I mean, we've got hospitals. You know, if I don't have medical aid, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean. We went to public schools. Do you really think the 50 rand that I was paying for public schools was sufficient enough to cater for everything? I don't think so. You know, I'm a product of NSFAS. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be advising other people if it wasn't NSFAS. You get what I mean? So it's all good to want the country to function at a more to want the country to function at more efficient level, where there's no corruption and there's a 100% or 150% service delivery. But I don't think we should ignore what the work that is being done. You know what I mean? Yes, we need to have this world standard of service delivery, but I don't think we should write off what is being done on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, no, true. I also believe, look, I don't mind paying some tax, but I think for someone paying 45%, so which means almost half of the year you work for the government. Now, paying tax is fine, but paying tax half of your year, you wake up every day at 5 to pay the government 6 months of the year, and still you have all these other taxes. I think it's theft, eh? But that's my personal thing. So how do we become more tax efficient, Shilly-Boy? It's financial year end soon. How can we give what we have to give? The Bible also says give Caesar what's due to Caesar, right? Jesus said that. Yeah. So let's give Caesar what is due to Caesar, but we don't want to give him everything.
Look, I think for me is speak to your tax professionals, whoever is guiding you. We're looking forward to a budget. There's going to be a lot of changes.
When's the budget?
Sometime in Feb, I think. Yeah, somewhere in Feb. I think normally towards the end, somewhere there. So I don't know. I haven't checked the dates, but I mean, obviously we'll get the dates as I'll probably start seeing. I subscribed to one commentary budgets, but it's in March, that one. So look out for changes that are potentially going to happen. We saw that there's a changes around the issue of those who exit the country, around retirement annuity funds and things like that, withdrawal taxes. There was a proposal about taxing people as they exit and becoming non-South African tax residents. So that's one changes that we might see. I don't know, but it was withdrawn, and probably they're reworking something at the National Treasury. So we'll see that. There was a section around Section 7C, the loans between the trust. It has been withdrawn. Probably they were reworking something because those are anti-avoidance and it's wealth tax. So you're most likely gonna be hit hard. I don't know. Look, we don't know, but it's the right thing to do. And let me maybe elaborate a little bit further. The third one is also around the issue of annuities that you can buy. Then they extended a pool of the type of annuities that you can buy after you're retired. So maybe let me just dwell deeper on the issue of exit. I mean, you're probably having a lot of people that might immigrate at some point, or their kids might immigrate at some point. So now what is happening is that when you live in the country, when you cease to be tax residents, there's a dimming provisions from your wealth, assets, you name them, right?
What's this? A dimming provision?
Sorry?
What did you say? A dimming provision?
Dimming provisions that are applicable. Let's say, for instance, you are deemed to have sold everything that you own, right? And as a day before you exit the country, you stop being a non-resident, right? From tax point of view. So now, so what they're saying is you can leave the country and cease to be tax resident while you haven't reached a retirement age. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So which means that, and we know that you get taxed normally when you withdraw from retirement or when you retire, right? All those type of things. That's how the current tax system. So then what happens if you leave the country and you're no longer tax resident, and over the years you have been actually deducting that retirement? Remember, when you pay for retirement annuities on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, you're allowed to deduct that against your taxable income. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So if you have been getting those tax benefits of deductions against your taxable income, and then you cease to be a tax resident, and then you're no longer being taxed when you retire, can you see it's unfair for fiscus, South African fiscus purposes? It's unfair, isn't it so?
Yeah.
So now SARS, they came back, and the National Treasury came in with a bill to say, hang on, why don't you tax these individuals a day before they cease to be residents? However, there's what we call treaties. Treaties is like countries' agreement on running of certain affairs, right? So there are those countries that we sign treaties with that actually restrict us from taxing these non-residents, because they'll be residents in those countries. So now if you tax them now and then that country tax them, you're overriding that tax treaties. That's number one. Number two, you're actually over double taxing these individuals. Can you see it's a bit of unfair? But however, as taxpayers, we understand that it's unfair also for the country. So they need to rework it. Others commentators are saying the only way to deal with this issue is if SARS actually, I mean, if the government itself go and renegotiate the treaties. But renegotiations of treaties is a political issue. We all know that when it's a political game, it can take years and years. Yeah. But then during that time, South Africa might be bleeding. Is it fair? I don't know. It's not. I don't think so. So that's one thing that we probably gonna see National Treasury trying to push it hard. We'll see during the budget speech what do they say. And then there's what we call Section 7C, capital C, for those with wealth and for those with family trust and property trust, share trust. They probably are aware of this. I'm not sure if you are, but you know, like when you loan your trust, you can't just loan your trust and not charge any interest. It triggers what you call deemed donations, right? Things like that.
ICON is LEROY SLAVA loan money to the Slava Trust without interest.
You can't. You can if you want to donate donation tax to SARS, knowing that after hearing your sentiments, I don't think that's what you will prefer. So what is happening is that, with that said, what is happening is that, so there was it was allowed that the trust can actually, between the trust can actually do a free loans between the three. So but then they came back and say no, that can be allowed, and then they withdrew that proposal. So there's a back and forth of that bill. So we'll see. But the one that you as a natural person loaning your trust or loaning a company that is owned by a trust without charging that interest, yeah, you'll find yourself in a very difficult position. So yeah, just be mindful of that. So, and then the other one that I'm kind of aware, it borderlines financial advisory. So I'm not a financial advisor. So it's an issue around there's amendment bill around issue of the type of annuities. I just know that annuities is included in the gross income from tax point of view. So it is the issue around when you retire, the type and the scope of annuities. There's a living and the guarantees annuities and things like that. So now what is happening is that they extended the scope well previously. I mean, so it's something that we're looking forward to and see if there are any changes around that. So those are some of the changes in 2022 that I pretty much, there's gonna be a lot of developments, and especially around digital assets. I see a lot of noise around digital world, especially that Reserve Bank is kind of monitoring that world. It's and SARS is also kind of scanning through that world. And of course, it's a growing platform. I saw crypto, Bitcoin rather. Bitcoin is dropping down. Maybe it's for someone like us. It's for someone like us to jump into that when it's still going down like that. Who knows what? But don't forget to have a chat with SARS. Yeah.
I was gonna go last week Friday. There was an NFT. I got an email for an NFT webinar, and I thought I was gonna jump on at 8 o'clock Friday. But I was so tired. I was on the couch, and 8 o'clock felt far for Friday, and I fell asleep.
Yeah, you're a traditional man. You wanna feel your assets.
Hey man, I wanna learn, but I think I'll jump on the next one to understand how these things. So it's a very interesting one. We're actually working on a system around that space, but yeah, let me not say much. So everything is digital, so we're trying to find something that we can use digitally, system wise, and we'll see how it goes. There was a good statement that Tom Wheelwright said, and I'm thinking about you saying that I've got a negative view on tax, and I'm thinking about what he said. He said, look at tax not as the government taking your money. Look at them, and you said it as well, that if you comply, that they will incentivize you for complying with what they want you to do. And he was specifically talking about property, that if there's a shortage of housing and you are a landlord and you create housing, you get tax benefits out of that, and like the UDZ or other tax benefits out of it. So if you do what the government wants you to do, then they give you incentives and money instead of taking your money, which is something I have to keep reminding myself about, and I forget it every now and again. So look, that was a nice way he looked at it, and you also said comply with what SARS want, and then there's benefits in that.
Yeah, and I think the beauty is that when you comply, there are certain, you can play around provisions. You know, when you do things the right way, you can actually end up using the same provision that was meant to restrict your movement, can end up being used to advantage. That's how interesting the world of tax can be, actually. So hence I advise and recommend that people need to, you need to comply. You're most likely going to enjoy the journey.
Thank you, Shilly-Boy. Well, let me see, what else do we have here for you? I think before we close, I know you've got another meeting now.
Yeah.
What is it? I think my wife also sent a WhatsApp here. What is she saying? For your everyday person. Okay, no, I was asking her, what should I ask Shilly-Boy before? She said, that's why you heard the WhatsApps coming through. So the question was, for the everyday person, what advice, but what should they do with the financial year in? But I think you answered that to say, get advice, professional advice. Because, quick story, I tried to, my mother worked in payroll all her life, started out buying property or 2 or 3. She did my tax. I paid so much tax just because she didn't understand how to do it. And because I thought I was saving by not getting an accountant or tax specialist, I was actually losing money.
And I think another thing for like what your wife is saying actually about for everyday person, take a step back and scrutinize and ask yourself, what are the things that I can actually invest in and still get tax benefits? So what are the things that I need to keep records of that will reduce my tax liability? So that's what an everyday person needs to ask themselves. I spoke about issues of retirement fund that, you know, things like that can help you to reduce tax liabilities. Things like medical aid, if you've got, you need to claim things like that, you can, actually there's a rate that you can, you know, simple things like that, man. Like, you know, things like if you sell a property for that matter, there are those annual exclusions, capital exclusions and things like that. If it's a primary residence, why not disclose? You know, things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that basic smaller things that an individual can actually take advantage of. Yeah, if they do the right thing and ask the questions. I think that for everyday person also is ask bother people.
Ask, and if you can't get the answer, pay.
Of course, yeah, because you need to feed the energy for the other people. It's only fair.
Yeah, no, true. ShillyBoy, thanks so much. I think you've got a meeting now, so I don't want to keep you too long. But thanks for that advice. And I think, guys, if you wanna, whether you have a business property and you want to be more tax efficient, you want to get advice, ShillyBoy, where do we get hold of you?
Yeah, look, I'm actually accessible across, well, I'm on TikTok. I embrace the new world.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
I must download it. Hey,
You better join me.
I'm so nervous of TikTok. It looks like so much work.
No, it's actually more simpler than other platforms. I actually like it's way quicker. Like I just get my phone, press the plus sign there, record myself, and I move on.
And you post.
So, sorry.
And you post.
Yeah, I just post and I move on. So I'm on TikTok as ShillyBoy Mutiba, and then I'm on YouTube. This year I'm gonna spend time on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah.
So like every Tuesday 6 p.m. I'm live on YouTube. Starting today, by the way, on the 25th. Okay. So I'm gonna be live every Tuesday 6 p.m. Myself and my partner, my colleague.
Yeah.
And then I'm on TikTok, ShillyBoy. I'm on Facebook also on ShillyBoy Property, ShillyBoy Mutiba Property Wealth with Property Wealth Roundtable with ShillyBoy Mutiba. Yeah, I share my TikTok videos. You've probably seen that I share TikTok videos there. So it's actually a platform where I just share my videos. So if you really want to engage with me, spend a lot of time on TikTok and YouTube. That's where other than that, yeah, you can actually WhatsApp me. I've got a public number that I actually give it to everyone. 074 589 6439. 074 589 6439. So that's, you can WhatsApp me. I prefer voice notes. Don't call me.
You like me? I know. I call a lot. Hey, I should start using voice notes.
Yeah, the voice note I work efficiently because I can listen to voice notes and then respond. I might be, you know, walking or doing something else, quickly respond to a voice note. So in that way, we'll communicate better. And yeah, so it's actually nice. I've tried that strategy and people are embracing it. It's actually very nice.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks, ShillyBoy. Thanks for taking our time. That was good advice you gave us there for 2022. So all the best for this year. It's going to be
you too, my guy. Yeah, let's get me involved in deals. Let's see what we can do and invest more in property space also.
Yeah, no, for sure. We are working on a couple, one or two. I'll share it with you once I have a bit more information on
cool, man.
These deals. Cool, man. All the best. Cheers.
Sure. Thanks, man. Cheers. Bye.